You don't rebuild your life someday. You rebuild it in the first hour of your morning. Before the noise, before the pressure, before the world starts making demands on you, there is a quiet window that belongs only to you. And what you do in that window will either strengthen you or slowly break you. Most people wake up and immediately surrender. They reach for their phones, scroll through other people's lives, absorb stress, comparison, and distraction before they've even taken a full breath for themselves. And then they wonder why they feel behind, overwhelmed, and mentally exhausted before the day has even begun. But you're not here to live like that anymore. You're here to take your power back. Winning your morning is not about perfection, it's about intention. It's about making a decision that the first voice you listen to will not be the world's, but your own. That means creating space. Even if it's just a few minutes you sit with yourself, you breathe. You allow your mind to wake up with clarity instead of chaos. Because a strong mind is not rushed. It is rooted. When you choose discipline in that first hour, something shifts inside of you. It might look small on the outside, getting out of bed when you said you would, resisting the urge to scroll, choosing stillness over noise, but internally you are building trust with yourself, and mental strength is built on that trust. It's built when your actions start matching your intentions. You are not just waking up, you are setting the tone. You are telling your mind, I am in control today. And control doesn't mean everything will go perfectly. It means you won't be easily shaken. It means when challenges come, and they will, you won't collapse under pressure because you've already anchored yourself. This is where rebuilding begins. Not in grand gestures, not in dramatic changes, but in quiet, consistent choices. The first hour becomes your training ground. It's where you practice focus. It's where you practice discipline. It's where you practice becoming the version of yourself you've been waiting for. And let's be honest, it won't always feel easy. There will be mornings when your bed feels more comfortable than your purpose. There will be days when motivation is nowhere to be found. But this is exactly where mental strength is forged. Not when you feel like it, but when you don't, and you show up anyway. Because every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are casting a vote for your future self. You are saying, I am worth the effort. I am worth the consistency. I am worth the change. And over time, those votes add up. They create a mindset that is unshakable, focused, and resilient. So when tomorrow morning comes, don't rush past it. Don't give it away, protect it, honor it. Step into it with intention, because that first hour is not just part of your day. It is the foundation of who you are becoming. Win the morning and you give yourself a fighting chance to win your life. And once you've claimed that first hour, the next battle is even more important. What you allow to take control of your mind. Because the truth is, if you don't take authority over your thoughts, something else will. The world is loud, opinions are everywhere, pressure is constant. And if you're not careful, you will start living from a place of reaction instead of intention. Mental strength begins when you realize that your mind is not meant to be a battlefield. It's meant to be a place of power. But that power has to be cultivated. It has to be protected. It has to be protected. You cannot pour strength into a mind that is constantly distracted, constantly comparing, constantly overwhelmed by everything happening around it. So before the day gets a chance to shape you, you have to shape your mind. That looks like creating moments of stillness, even when your life feels busy. It looks like sitting in silence long enough to hear your own thoughts without interruption. Not to judge them, not to run from them, but to understand them. Because clarity doesn't come from noise, it comes from stillness. When you slow down, you begin to recognize the patterns that have been quietly controlling you, the doubt that whispers, you're not ready. The fear that tells you, what if you fail? The pressure that says you're already behind. And here's the shift. You stop accepting every thought as truth. You start questioning what deserves your attention and what needs to be released. That is control. That is strength. Some mornings, that control might look like prayer. Other mornings, it might look like journaling everything that's been weighing on your heart. It might be deep breathing or simply sitting with your eyes closed, grounding yourself before the world starts pulling at you. The method doesn't matter as much as the intention behind it, the intention to lead your mind instead of being led by it. Because when you don't create space for your mind, the world will fill it for you. And what the world offers is often anxiety, comparison, urgency, and fear. But when you take time to center yourself, you create a filter. You become more aware of what you allow in and what you refuse to carry. And that awareness changes everything. Now, when something goes wrong during your day, you don't immediately spiral. When someone tests your patience, you don't lose yourself in the moment. When doubt tries to creep in, it doesn't settle as deeply as it used to. Why? Because you've already done the work of grounding yourself. You've already reminded your mind who's in charge. This is not about having a perfect mindset. It's about having a trained one, a mind that knows how to return to peace even after chaos. A mind that doesn't panic at every challenge, but pauses, processes, and responds with intention. And the more you practice this, the stronger you become. Not louder, not harder, but steadier, more focused, more in control of your emotional and mental space. So don't just wake up and move, wake up and center yourself. Don't just think, direct your thoughts. Because when you learn to control your mind before the world does, you don't just protect your peace. You elevate your power, take control of your peace, mind, and you take control of your life. And now that you've learned how to claim your morning and center your mind, the next step is where everything begins to take shape, how you show up in the small, everyday moments. Because the truth is, mental strength is not built in big, dramatic decisions. It's built in the quiet discipline of the little things you choose to do over and over again. We often wait for a breakthrough moment to change our lives. We think it has to be something big, something visible, something that proves we've transformed. But real change doesn't announce itself like that. It happens in the background, in the habits no one applauds. It happens when you do what you said you would do, even when no one is watching. Discipline is not about intensity. It's about consistency. It's choosing to get up when your body wants to stay in bed. It's making your bed not because it's a grand achievement, but because it's a promise kept. It's following through on a routine even when your mood tries to convince you otherwise. And every time you honor those small commitments, you are strengthening something deeper than motivation. You are strengthening your identity. Because every action you repeat is telling you who you are. When you avoid the small things, when you constantly negotiate with yourself, when you say, I'll do it later and later never comes, you begin to weaken your trust in yourself. And once that trust is broken, everything feels harder. You start doubting your ability to follow through, to stay consistent, to grow. But when you start keeping those small promises, something powerful shifts. You begin to see yourself differently. You begin to trust yourself again. And trust is the foundation of mental strength. This is why the smallest habits matter, not because they're impressive, but because they are transformative. A cold shower may seem uncomfortable, but it teaches you how to face discomfort instead of avoiding it. Sticking to a morning routine may seem repetitive, but it teaches you how to stay committed beyond your emotions. Even something as simple as organizing your space can train your mind to value clarity over chaos. These are not random actions, they are training grounds. Every small act of discipline is preparing you for bigger challenges. It's teaching you how to stay grounded when life becomes unpredictable. It's teaching you how to move forward when motivation disappears, because motivation will come and go, but discipline is what carries you through. And here's what you need to understand. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. So if your habits are inconsistent, your results will be too. But if your habits are strong, if they are steady and intentional, then even on your worst days, you will still move forward. You don't need to change everything overnight. You just need to start somewhere and stay there long enough for it to shape you. So stop overlooking the small things. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The power you're looking for is already in your daily choices. It's in the discipline you practice when it would be easier not to. Build strength in the small things, and you'll never be weak in the big ones. And as you begin to build discipline through those small, consistent actions, you'll start to realize something deeper. Your mind can only be as strong as the body that carries it. We like to separate the two as if mental strength exists on its own, but the truth is your physical state is constantly shaping your emotional and mental capacity. How you treat your body in the morning is not just about health, it's about clarity, energy, and resilience. Think about it. When you wake up feeling sluggish, dehydrated, and drained, everything feels heavier. Your thoughts are slower, your patience is thinner, your focus is scattered. But when you begin to fuel your body with intention, something shifts. You feel more alert, more present, more capable of handling whatever the day brings. It starts with something simple: water. Before the coffee, before anything else, you give your body what it actually needs. Hydration wakes up your system, clears the fog, and signals that you are ready to move with purpose. It may seem small, but it's a powerful act of awareness. Then comes movement, not punishment, not pressure, but movement that reminds your body it is alive. Whether it's stretching, walking, or a full workout, you are activating more than just your muscles. You are releasing tension, boosting your mood, and training your mind to push past resistance. Because let's be honest, there will be mornings when you don't feel like moving, but the moment you do it anyway, you're reinforcing discipline and building resilience at the same time. And that resilience carries into every part of your day. When your body is strong, your mind follows. You handle stress differently. You think more clearly. You respond instead of react. Physical care becomes mental armor. It prepares you for challenges before they even arrive. And let's talk about what you consume, because it's not just about eating, it's about fueling. The foods you choose in the morning either support your focus or sabotage it. Heavy processed choices may give you a temporary boost, but they often leave you feeling sluggish and distracted. But when you nourish your body with intention, whole, energizing foods, you're not just feeding your body. You're feeding your ability to think, to concentrate, to stay steady. This is about respect. Respect for the body that carries your dreams, your goals, your responsibilities. You cannot expect ourselves to show up powerfully in life if you are constantly neglecting the very thing that sustains you. And this doesn't require perfection. It doesn't mean every morning has to look the same or that you have to follow some rigid routine. It means being mindful. It means asking yourself, what does my body need today to help me become stronger mentally and emotionally? Because when you start treating your body as an ally instead of an afterthought, everything changes. Your energy becomes more consistent. Your confidence grows. Your ability to stay focused and resilient increases. You begin to feel stronger, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. So don't underestimate the power of how you start your day physically. It's not separate from your mindset. It's deeply connected to it. Fuel your body with intention, and your mind will rise to meet it. And as you begin to take care of your body, something else becomes just as important: what you allow into your mind. Because your mind is always being fed, whether you realize it or not. Because your mind is always being fed, whether you realize it or not. The question is not if you are consuming something, but what you are consuming and whether it is building you or quietly breaking you down. We live in a world where information is constant. The moment you pick up your phone, you are flooded with opinions, headlines, comparisons, distractions. And if you're not intentional, you can spend your entire morning feeding your mind with things that leave you anxious, distracted, and disconnected from your purpose. And then you wonder why it's hard to focus. You wonder why your thoughts feel scattered. You wonder why your confidence feels fragile. It's because what you feed your mind shapes how you see yourself and the world around you. So if you are serious about rebuilding yourself, you have to become more selective. You have to stop treating your mind like it can handle anything and start treating it like something that needs protection, guidance, and intention. That means making conscious choices in the morning. Before you scroll, before you react, before you absorb what everyone else is saying, you take a moment to pour something meaningful into yourself. Maybe it's reading a few pages of a book that challenges you to grow. Maybe tis listening to something that strengthens your mindset instead of weakening it. Maybe it's sitting quietly and reflecting on where you are and where you want to go. Whatever it is, it should serve you, not distract you. Because mindless consumption leads to a mindless day. But purposeful input creates a focused life. When you start feeding your mind with intention, you begin to notice a shift. Your thoughts become clearer. Your decisions become more aligned. You're not as easily pulled into comparison because you're grounded in your own path. You're not as easily shaken by negativity because you've already filled your mind with something stronger. And this is not about avoiding reality. It's about choosing how you engage with it. You can be aware of what's happening in the world without allowing it to control your internal state. You can stay informed without becoming overwhelmed, but that requires discipline. That requires boundaries. Not everything deserves your attention. And once you understand that, you start to reclaim your focus. You stop giving your energy to things that don't serve your growth. You stop allowing random noise to dictate your mood, your confidence, your direction. Instead, you become intentional. You begin to ask yourself, is this helping me become who I want to be? And if the answer is no, you have the strength to step away from it. That's mental strength. Not just enduring everything, but choosing wisely what you allow into your space. Because your mind is powerful, but it is also impressionable. It absorbs what you repeatedly expose it to. So if you want to rebuild yourself, you have to be mindful of what you are reinforcing every single day. Fill your mind with purpose, and you will begin to live with purpose. And after you've guarded your mind, strengthened your discipline, and fueled your body with intention, there comes a moment where you have to decide how you are going to show up in the day ahead, because clarity is powerful, but only if you use it. And this is where many people fall short. They wake up, they move, they think, but they never truly decide. You cannot rebuild your life drifting through your days. You have to be intentional about where you're going and how you plan to get there. That starts with setting clear intentions before the demands of the day begin pulling you in every direction. You take a moment to define what matters, not everything, just what truly counts. Because when everything feels important, nothing actually is. But when you choose a few priorities and commit to them, your energy becomes focused, your decisions become sharper, and your day begins to move with purpose. This is not about creating a perfect plan. It's about creating direction. You write it down, even if it's simple. One goal, 2 priorities, a clear focus. And in that moment, you're not just organizing your day, you're giving your mind something to lock into. You're removing the confusion, the hesitation, the constant back and forth that drains your energy, because indecision is exhausting, but clarity is energizing. When you know what you're aiming for, you move differently. You're not easily distracted because you've already decided what deserves your attention. You're not overwhelmed by everything that comes your way because you have a filter. You know what aligns with your purpose and what doesn't. And then comes the next step. You act not later, not when you feel ready, but now. Because intentions without action are just wishes. And if you are serious about rebuilding yourself, you cannot afford to keep wishing for a different life while repeating the same patterns. You have to move. You have to take that first step, even if it feels small, even if it feels uncertain. Inaction builds momentum, and momentum builds confidence. The more you follow through, the more you prove to yourself that you are capable, that you are not stuck, that you are not waiting for change, you are creating it. And that realization is powerful. It shifts you from a passive mindset to an active one. You stop hoping things will get better, and you start making them better. And yes, there will be moments where things don't go as planned. There will be distractions, delays, unexpected challenges. But when your intentions are clear, you don't lose direction. You adjust, you refocus, and you keep moving forward. Because now you are not just reacting to life, you're leading it. This is what it means to attack the day, not with chaos, not with pressure, but with purpose, with clarity, with a mindset that says, I know what I'm here to do, and I'm going to give my energy to that. So don't let your day happen to you. Step into it with intention. Decide who you're going to be. Decide what matters. And then move like it matters. Set your intention, take your action, and watch your life begin to align with the vision you've been holding inside.